Hello, I'm Soraya Mia and you're watching Agenda AWANI. Unlocking the potential of communities is not just about investing capital, but also about fostering meaningful connections through strategic partnerships, community service initiatives, and the dedication of employee initiatives and volunteers. Now, in this episode of Agenda AWANI, we discover what Rhythm Foundation does to empower lives and transform communities, especially the underprivileged girls and women, with the chairperson herself, Datin Sri Umayal Eswaran. Thank you so much, Datin Sri, for joining us on Agenda AWANI.
Thank you, Saraya, for having me here.
Now, let's just begin the conversation with Rhythm Foundation. Now, tell us, or the audience, what Rhythm Foundation is about. What is the missions and the initiatives of Rhythm Foundation?
Rhythm Foundation is the QI's social impact initiative. We focus on communities to empower, to go in there to do community service and also employee volunteering. Acronym for Rhythm, raise yourself to help mankind. We believe in the power of ourselves, to raise ourselves, to make us better human beings so that we can go out there and serve the communities that are in need. We focus on 3 areas, which is education, empowerment, and environment. And also in line with some of the UN SDGs. And our initiatives are focused on going out there and empowering the communities and making an impact, and to make sure that they are independent and become self-sufficient. So that is about what we stand for, our mission, which is empowering lives and transforming communities.
Yeah, I really like the point when you mention making an impact, because we always understand that creating an impact is not just, through funding per se, but when we talk about Rhythm Foundation, when you talk about creating impact and actually seeing the results, how do you, what are your aims, or how do you see creating impact through the initiatives of Rhythm Foundation?
Well, when we begin, like when we look at a project itself, we go into communities or areas where there is a need. So that's the first focus area that we do. Okay, there is a need, we need to go in there and do something about it. Now, this is, for us, it's not just about, as a corporate foundation, to go in there and just give funding and see how things are being done. We choose the partner on the ground, someone that we want to work with and collaborate. And we journey with them for 3 years, in a partnership. And so we do monitoring and evaluation for that 3 years, and very close monitoring and evaluation, and to see that what we have gone in and done, and it's working, because it's no point in, at any point of time, you want to make sure that what you have done, the program that you have come out with for these communities are working. Yep. We want to make them independent, self-sufficient when we come out of this program. So monitoring and evaluation is an important component of what we do. It's not easy, I must say, because you're working with people. When you're working with people, collection of data, and how do you assimilate things? It does, it does become difficult for us. But it's also a learning curve for us, as much as it is with people we are collaborating and the communities that we are working with.
Yep, good point on how collection of data, monitoring is important to actually see the work working. But we'll talk about the challenges maybe later on the show. I'd like to talk a little bit more about Rhythm Foundation, one of its programs that have been the longest running programs, actually the Maharani Program. Of course, one of the biggest aims of Rhythm Foundation is empowerment. So
Yes.
when we talk about empowerment and Maharani Program, how does this connect? Where did Maharani Program begin, and how did it all start?
Oh. I personally believe that if you educate a girl child, and when she grows up and become a woman, she will be an empowered woman. And women are the half the population of a nation or the world. So why leave that potential behind? You know, so it all started with that, the Maharani Program, which is 14 years ago. When we started, we just started with a home, a girls' home, and the 20 girls, we took them out and had a camp. I remember I was there in that camp 14 years ago, not knowing the journey that was going to be and where we will be today. And I would say it has been challenging for us and at the same time rewarding. Because from there we went into different states and schools, you know, working with schools with the approval of the ministry, and like having a camp, just a camp, you know, which is a 3-day, 2 nights camp. And from the camp evolved our Maharani Learning Lab, because we decided from the camp where, because my question is always, what's next? You know, because there should be a process to whatever we begin, as in I said, there should be an impact and there should be a learning for us. So the Maharani Learning Lab was established in Sungai Siput, and this is where the girls come in like after school. In Sungai Siput, we worked with the Pinta Foundation, with the schools. So these children will come after school for tuition from the teachers from the school. And at the same time on weekends, they will come for like baking classes, and this is like soft skills, you know. I think they also considered it as a safe space, because sometimes a lot of these girls come from troubled homes, and you know, it is difficult for them. So this was, Maharani Learning Lab was a safe place for them, you know. And we could see, you know, the changes in them, you know, like some of them, how they can be so quiet, you know, and not speak. But after going through the, you know, the Maharani camp and then going into the lab, they will actually, you will be like, oh, you have a voice. You know, they kind of, you can see the confidence slowly coming, because the most that we see in these girls is the inferiority complex, you know, and do not have the confidence that they can do something. So we are trying to inculcate that confidence in them and the independence, and to say that you can go out there and achieve whatever you set out to do. So dream big, you know. And so Maharani is about that.
That's very inspiring, especially when you talk about empowering. That word is probably misunderstood a lot, and you know, when we talk about girls, I personally can relate to being a very quiet girl myself when I was younger. But then when we find a purpose, or when we find our confidence, then perhaps that's one way forward for us to grow to our full potential. Now, when you talk about the camp or anything under any programs under Maharani Program, how is, like, I'm just curious to know, how is the process of the learning process or the education process? Who are the staffs or teachers involved? Maybe you'd like to share a little bit?
Yes. So we do, so the camp is more of experiential, yeah. So they actually go out there, they have campfires, and they have sharing process. And sometimes they even have, like, you know, they have this, we tell them to like speak, with confidence, and sometimes we make them like the models, they walk, and that you should see some of it. I mean, I've seen these videos, and, it's really to see them, when they come in, they are so quiet, and some of them don't even speak, and some of them are so timid, and they don't even know what's going to happen in the camp. So they have experiential process. Then we do bring in trainers, and then we also have train the trainers as well program before we bring in the girls for the camp. So these trainers are the ones who come in and they work with them, and in the learning lab, it's more of we focus on their school curriculums and, subjects that they are weak in. So we work with the teachers or the counselors in the school and see like where we need to, focus on, work with these girls. And so, it works, all these small things that you think that probably will not make a difference. I mean, today, in this 14 years of our journey, we have touched there's been about 8,000 girls, who have benefited from this program. So you can imagine there is a spark in each of these girls. Now it might be different in each and every one of them.
Yeah.
But I'm confident there's a spark that happened.
I definitely believe there is, and I'm so interested to know the success stories. But before we get into that, it's been 14 years of the Maharani program. How has it evolved throughout the years? What are the key milestones that you've achieved?
So, as I said, right, the first one was just 20 girls from a home. Then we realized that we need to go bigger. We can't just stick to the homes. So that's how we went into the schools, and then we went into Sungai Siput, and we started our Maharani Learning Lab.
Right.
But unfortunately, then COVID came, so it's 4 years, and all these families were going through their own challenges with health, no income, losing family members, grieving, and for us, not being able to move anywhere, So, but with that, we realized that we need to relook, we need to review, what we have been doing. And so what we have done is we have closed the Sungai Siput Maharani Learning Lab, and we have revamped the whole program, and we came up with a Maharani School program, which is called MSP.
Okay.
And then another one called MLL 2.0, we are calling it, which we are going to open next month in Damansara Damai in KL. So the Maharani School program, which the first one, 5 schools in Selangor, because we are based in Selangor, so we started in Selangor. It's easier for us to monitor and evaluate the program, and with 5 schools, and it is doing extremely well, I must say, because we have gone into the schools. We have the support of the school, and the schools are really very happy. In fact, more schools are coming and asking us, when are we going to come in?
That's great.
Now, this is what we wanted to see, because not just us going and doing this program, but with, with the education ministry and the state as well, state education ministry, with their blessings that, these programs go into the schools. Because otherwise we, as one corporate foundation, how much can we do? And this is now going 14 years, but we have had excellent results where parents come and, tell us how, like the daughter, for example, she's probably a good student, but does not take part in any other activities in school, because a quiet girl, probably just does her own work and homework and, at school, but does not take part. So, but they can see that transformation happening. Like, she's going and taking part in all the other activities in school, and they want to stay in school. they will finish, their school and then probably go to do university, because that's the mindset we prepare them for them to not take education as your tool to succeed in life. So that, you don't give up.
Yep.
And I think it's working, because, they do understand that this is important for us, and we are covering the aspects of it. We start with self-discovery, so, they can get to know who they are.
Yep.
Then we talk about nature and home. Then we talk about leadership, So these are phases we take them through. Then the last phase is like, how do they prepare for their exams in school? Phase 4.
Right.
So, so we take them systematically
Step by step.
Every step. And I think when we leave these schools, they will be, they will be empowered and they will be where they are. So we have started 5 schools in Selangor. Now we have gone into Negeri Sembilan, another 5 schools.
Oh.
So we have 10 schools under us now.
Right. So the fact that there is an increase of collaboration between the foundation, Rhythm Foundation, as well as schools, that will sort of bring more awareness to collaborate within the states, as well as the government. I think that's very important when we want to achieve something. It's collaboration between private, public, and government agencies and whatnot. But I did remember that you talked a lot about the Rhythm Foundation being there in the program for 3 years only, right? 3 years. I mean, that's quite a long time, but 3 years, and then it's not like forever. So how do you ensure that they understand that after this, you need to be independent, or how do you explain to them in terms of the goals that they would like to achieve?
So if you go into a community, if we adapt a community, for example, for 3 years and we work with them, you have to look at every aspect of the community. So you're going to look at, the children, the youth, the men and the women. So how are you going to empower them with the resource that they have within the community? Because that's important. Because we don't take them out of the community and tell them to do something that they are not used to. So we go in there because we are collaborating with a partner on the ground, right? So we are not the voice. We let the partners be the voice, because they are on the ground. They are working with these communities. They are working with these people in the community. They know them the best. So we make it very clear why, for how long we are here with you, what will we do, what is our expectation, and what would we like to see in these 3 years of being journey with you. So we make these things very clear to the partner. We give them templates, we give them documents, So as a foundation, we are very clear on what we want to achieve when we go in there. Then again, we are working with people. So when you're working with people, you need to be sensitive, you need to be caring, we need to be compassionate. So we cannot be like, this is not a business where you can just go in and say, okay, I want this, I want this. Yes, we can. So it's like, the firm hands with the gloves, they say, So we are like that, because our focus is what? We want to empower the community as a whole. So we know what we want to achieve. So we go in there and we make the partners understand together what we need to do to empower them. So in 3 years, when we walk out of this project, that community is self-sufficient, self-reliable, they are independent, and they know what they are doing. Now they might not have achieved that 100%, But because of all the training, the capacity building, and the social enterprise that we have established for them, they can function.
Now talk about the success stories. I'm sure you've had many, but which are probably some of your favorites?
Are you asking the success stories of Maharani?
Maharani or Rhythm Foundation as a whole?
Oh, we have had a lot of success stories. I mean, with Maharani, we have had girls who did not want to finish school to going to complete, to being offered to do medicine in Sarawak.
Wow.
Yeah, so, and her mother is a rubber tapper, right? And father does the menial job, you know. So, and she got a scholarship to go to Sarawak. So, and we've had another girl. Now, most of these girls come from B40 families, yeah. So, no dreams. If you ask them, what do you want to do? They can only think as far as what the parents are doing. And they just want to do that, you know. But that's where we change their mindsets and tell them that you can do whatever you want to do. So, we have girls today who have actually completed school, they have completed a diploma and gone into like the PR agency or an event management or become an administrative assistant or a bookkeeper. So, we don't talk to them about making millions and becoming a doctor or an engineer or and professional like that. We just tell them that you can be what you want to be, you know. So, think independent, because I believe that women are resilient, women are committed, women are strong.
Absolutely.
You know, and I think if we put our mind together, we can do whatever we want to do, you know, and we will do it, you know, and I believe in that. And if me as a woman, if, you know, my parents, my father, if he didn't give me that independence, let's say we take it from that point of view, because they talk about the patriarchal society and how, you know, things are in you know, today's time. If he did not encourage me, if he did not give me the independence and think and do what I want to do, I will not be here. So I want to give that back to the community.
Yep, I definitely love that point when you say women are strong, women can do anything, and I can feel it from you that you are definitely passionate about that. But before we end the show, I just have one last question for you. What is Maharani and Rhythm Foundation's future plans or future visions, the past 19 years for Rhythm Foundation and the past 14 years for the Maharani program? What's next?
Where would we like to see Maharani? Is to have it as a curriculum in all the national schools, even at the primary and the secondary, as part of the curriculum. So every Malaysian can benefit from it. That's what we would like to see. And where we want to see it that's where we want to see it, for it to go, and we would like to see more collaborations between the government and private sector, and also with us as a foundation, because I think collaborations work the best and we can create more impact instead of everyone doing in their silos. You know, we come together, we can make a bigger impact.
Absolutely.
And to all the Maharani girls out there who have benefited from this program, I would like to ask them to come back and give to the other girls and empower more girls to become the change makers.
That's very impressive and inspiring. Thank you so much for your explanation, and thank you for blessing our show today. That was the chairperson of Rhythm Foundation, Datin Sri Umayal Eswaran, and I'm Soraya Mia. Thank you for watching, everyone, and we'll see you again.